Hi, welcome to Tech Dictate. So today we're looking at data types. So data types come in many forms and they just basically represent the type of value you're talking about. Okay, so for example, we have we have different data types. Today we'll just discuss a few because this is again introductory, and so we want you to get oriented to programming and basics of programming. They start here. Okay, so when we're talking about data types, we're talking about variables and constants, which are values in your code. Okay, so when you're writing data types, we have integer, we have character. I will just mention a few because different programming language may call them differently, but I will just use the names, normal naming. String, Boolean, and float. So these are the most common. So when you're talking about an integer, okay, these are numbers. Actually, there are programming languages that will call these numbers. When you're talking about a number, then you're talking about either positive and negative. There's a certain range which I will not mention, or I will just write it using, okay, you'll just see it below the screen. Yeah, so an integer is a number, and these numbers have no decimals. When you're talking about integers, they're just whole numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 onwards, those are integers in programming. Then a character, mostly we represent them this way. In other programming languages, it can be A, B. Okay, so a character is one, not a bunch. Now, when we string characters together, we get a string. Wow, quite interesting. So A, B, C becomes a string, and now you can represent them this way. Different programming languages will use this apostrophe, double quotes differently. Is it apostrophe? Yeah, single quotes, double quotes differently. Sorry. Yeah, so string, when you join a lot of characters together, you get a string. A string is represented by double quotes, character by single quotes, but that is dependent on a programming language. Boolean only takes two forms. True and false. Okay, so whenever you're talking about Boolean, you're asking the question, is this true or is this false? Okay, and so these are the two forms for Boolean. Now, a float is a number but with decimal. So 1.21 is a float, 2.96 is a float, 9.54 float. Okay, so the decimals can be up to, depending on the programming language, I assume, they can be up to 29. I think there's a programming language. To know Visual Basic, it's up to 29. So I'll just again put it down here on the screen for you to see the length of that. Okay, so integer, we've said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an integer, a number. And it can be positive or negative, but it's up to a certain range. Characters A, B, C, D, those are characters. And it's only one, as in A. Okay, but when you say A, B, or just some name, like my name, then this is a string. This is a string, and this is a character. Okay, so Boolean, false, true, true, false. That's it. Floating have decimal points. Okay, those are floats. So whenever you expect an answer to have decimal points, you can declare a float. Okay, yeah, so that's it for this tutorial. So since I'm not being specific to any programming language, I just thought it would be nice to just do this way. since, yeah, it's just introducing you to programming. Okay, so thank you. We will see you in the next tutorial.